Hi, this is Deb, the Traveling Stocking Stitcher. I'm coming to you from Charlotte, North Carolina at the Queen City Stitch Retreat 2024. And this is hosted by Maggie of Tissue Whips and Amy of Fiber Arts Amy. They do a fantastic job. This is the second year that they've done it, and it's a wonderful time. We're having a great time. The guest designer is Autumn Lane Stitchery, and Aaron and his wife Cassandra are the folks behind that. He does the artwork and she does the business stuff, and they are did a wonderful job here as well. And I'm coming in on a finish here. This is their Santa Claus is coming to town. I'm going to make it into a stocking, and I'll show you more on that in a little bit. So this episode is called They Put the Treat in Retreat. Because Amy and Maggie have done a phenomenal job of putting on a retreat. It was fantastic. The Queen City Stitch Retreat rules. This is going away because it's going to fall off my head. Amy and Maggie could not have done a more spectacular job. I was so impressed. And the amount of work that they put into it, and to make it so fun and inviting and entertaining, it was just really a joy. There were a lot of people who had never been to retreats before, and I think everybody felt really so comfortable, and that's really a tribute to the two of them. They're friends that met online stitching and said, hey, let's put on a show, and started last year. They started their first retreat, and they're very ambitious. They're going to do one mid-year as well. So I'll tell you all about that. I know some of you just want to get to the stitching, and I will start out with that first. Show you a piece that I finished, the one that I showed you. I will show you the retreat exclusive that I've also finished, that I'm very excited about. And I will also show you some whips since the last time I saw you. I've been working on some other stuff as well. So I know it's I'll talk about the retreat in detail afterwards. You know, it's not just, I'm not a big haul fan necessarily on videos, but it is all about the stuff that you get, and the swag and the freebies and the giveaways and all that kind of stuff. So kind of goes with the territory. But also want to kind of, if you've been toying with the idea of going to a retreat or you have apprehension about it, that's normal. And I want to kind of get into the things that I encountered in the kind of the beginning to the end of the process, and give you some ideas of things you might want to think about when you're looking for a treat yourself. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's get started with the stitching. And this is from Autumn Lane Stitchery, who is was the guest designer, and they were fantastic as well. They were just couldn't have been sweeter and kinder, and just fit right in with the group. But this is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And I finished this just in the nick of time. Boy, that they have a bell you can ring when you finish a piece. And I was stitching on this till about 15 minutes before they closed up the room. Matter of fact, they put the bell away that you ring, and had to dig that out to be able to find this. So this is what I've got. And this is done on 36 count Mystic Edinburgh Linen 2/2. And it's just the cutest design. I really enjoy this. They have a couple of different choices that you can make. I'll put the other choice up here. I did the one with the snowflakes up here, but I think you could have some brown and white and red reindeer with a sleigh up here, similar to the one down here. Instead of them being in white down there, I think there were snowflakes down here. So those kind of were flip-flopped and were in color as opposed to being white. But you notice I do have the outline of a stocking basted on here because I am going to be adding to the bottom. So even though it's done, I didn't iron it because there's more stitching to do. I finished the Autumn Lane piece. But what I'm going to do is try to add on a town, Santa Claus is coming to town, at the bottom. So it looks like they're kind of hovering over the town. So I'll show you my three choices that I have picked out. I haven't been able to narrow them down yet. So if you got ideas, please add them to the comments below, or thoughts about this. So first up is Santa's Coming by Stitchrovia. I flipped this because I want the toe to angle to the left, and I like how it tapers down kind of to the point down towards the toe, but the colors don't feel like they're very complementary to the other piece. So color conversion is probably going to be required. Not one of my strong skills. I've got some other choices lined up as well. The other one is Santa Brought a Christmas Gift. This is from Owl Stitching House. And this one, the colors seem better and closer, but it's going to require moving some of the houses around so that they kind of go from taller to smaller. And then the third choice, very similar to the second choice, is Christmas Town. This is from Wombat Stitching. but it's also going to require some repositioning and some elimination of some of the houses and some of that stuff as well. So those are my 3 options that I'm going to do for that. So that is a finish, a whip, a little bit of both. The next one is Queen of the Night. Now they introduced this at one of the Zooms they had in preparation for the retreat and showed us a little sneak peek of it. And I saw it and it was like, I was so excited because I do travel posters. I was going to Charlotte. This one essentially was a travel poster. I did a little embellishing. There were, again, 2 colorways. There was a red colorway and a blue colorway, and Amy stitched the one version and Maggie stitched the other version. So you had 2 choices, and they told us ahead of time. So I pulled all the flosses because once I saw it, I knew I wanted to do it. I was thinking I'd probably want to do blue because that's typically my favorite color. But when I saw the red, it really clicked with me. So the red is what I did, and I was inspired. I noticed that Maggie had done a little embellishment with some Kreinik in part of it, and that kind of opened the floodgates. And luckily I didn't get too far into the detail while I was at the retreat, and so when I came home I found some stuff that worked really well with it. So I have added this to become my Charlotte travel poster. So here she is. And the design didn't have the name across the top. I found a font that looked, kind of a Old English lettering that I thought went well with it. This is done on 28 count Nocturne linen, a 2/2, and these are the embellishments I found sitting around in my stash. I found these very sparkly kind of things, but I put some beads in here. I put around here I filled in the skin and did kind of a diagonal pendant and a diamond shaped pendant, not such a square one but an elongated one, and kind of a red pearly bead, and I did some beads along here and a little bead on top of there, and this is all Kreinik in here. I don't know if you can really tell. I don't know if it was worth it or not. I did some treasure braid around the outside, and then I did some blending of Kreinik for the moon. Not sure if it's really shiny, but let's see if I can get an angle on there that lets you see that. But she was so much fun to do. I was a little concerned. I wasn't getting a lot of progress done at the retreat. You're sitting in chairs from a ballroom in a hotel, so, and you don't have your usual setup. You've got things on a table in front of you, so I was doing a fair amount of frogging. One of our table mates went out and made copies of the chart, which helped considerably so we could actually mark things off, so that was really helpful. And then they put it up, made an electronic copy of PDF available to us later on, so that helped as well. So, but yeah, she stitched up pretty quick. I've had her done within a week of getting home, so thank you, Erin and Cassandra. Fabulous. Those of us who started it got a little giveaway. They had extra giveaways towards the end of the weekend, and they were making things up, and so anybody who had started this and gotten a ways away along with it got a giveaway. I'll show you that in the giveaway piece. I've got stuff separated out here by what they are, so I'll show you that in a minute. But got an autumn lane chart for that, and they took a picture of us with Erin and Cassandra and Mav, their little boy, who was just a treat. He was plenty of fun, running around, having a good time, very well behaved, so he was a real champ. All right, let's now get on to the whips. Not necessarily retreat related, but about a month ago I went to Scotland, so I've been working on some UK related things. You saw this last time I showed it. This is a UK map watercolor, and it's got the Great Britain Union Jacks from TAMStitchDesigns on Etsy, and this is a 25 count 1/1. It's on light blue instead of white, so I eliminated about 15,000 stitches. So I'm about what says 66% on Pattern Keeper. I'm really closer to about 34% of what I'm actually going to stitch. So got almost down to the end of I've got all Scotland at the top, and then a good chunk of England done. So just Ireland and Northern Ireland and Wales left to go, and then the Union Jack, and then other stuff. So Another one that I've made some progress on since the last I saw you is called, I call it Scottish Thistle. It's got a really long name on Etsy. It's called Flower of Scotland for St. Andrew's Day Thistle, Tartan, and Celtic Knotwork by the Vivsters, or I think she goes by Vivsters now. Vivian Powers is the designer. And this is on 22 count, 2/1. It's about 29% complete. And this is what I've got going on. I was complaining about the fill last time I did this, and I actually been going in not too bad. It's one of those things when you don't want to think too hard, and you want to watch some TV, and it's just all the same color, so it's going pretty good. And then one more whip. I started this one. I like to have some, big count, 14 count white, easy to stitch, easy pattern keeper thing. So this is Venice by Stitchrovia, and this is on 14 count white, 2/1. So this I worked on the plane, and don't have a whole lot there, but this is this is in my go bag whenever I need to go somewhere quick and know I want to take some stitching with. I only have about 1.23% complete, but it's nice to have. I finished up a couple of things that were kind of my travel pieces that I needed something new to work on, so this I started out for their treat. So that concludes the stitching portion of our video. Now it's time to talk about the Queen City Stitch Retreat. It was Thursday, October 17th through Sunday the 20th, and there were 144 spots that were available. There were tables, I think there were 22 tables that they had set up, and they had 6 people. So you had plenty of room to spread out and stuff. There were a couple of 2 tables that were no-shows. I think they may have been local people from the North Carolina area that maybe had issues because of Hurricane Helene that maybe couldn't make there. I think I heard at least one person was like an emergency responder, so they couldn't come, and so that was unfortunate that they couldn't make it, but the team that they have working with them are great as well, and most of them have Flosstubes, and they're a lot of fun to watch as well. So Catherine, she's Needleberry Stitcher, and she's wonderful. If you're not watching Catherine, you really have to go do that. She was an early adopter of my channel, and I'm glad to call her a friend. She was kind of their tech person. She also put together a bunch of trivia games that we played throughout the weekend, and so you could play along on your phone, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of Autumn Lane Stitchery trivia, and it was a blast. So appreciate all her work that she did there. And I'm not sure what a lot of their capacities are. I just happen to know Catherine a little better than some of the others. So. Allie of Allie Z is crafty. She was selling raffle tickets. I'll talk more about that as well, but she was phenomenal at doing that. And Katie, who is Kayanik, I'll put it down in Instagram because I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but she's also recently started creating some chatelaine inspired designs, and her company that she's doing that with now is called Sosna Designs, and she gave us a little freebie card of that that I'll probably show you in a minute here. I think I've got that in my bag. And then Alma Z, I didn't get a chance to talk to her at all, but she is at the Tattooed Stitching Crafting Owl, and then, like I mentioned, that we had Erin and Cassandra Houston from Autumn Lane Stitchery, and they did a one-on-one, so every table got to go out and meet with them and get something signed. If you wanted a chart signed, or you wanted a design signed, or some people actually had their finished work signed by them as well. They did a Q&A, and they did fantastic. They were very nervous about that, but they did it like pros. They were great. And they had a table where they sold some charts. They also have a Flosstube channel. It's been a while since they put up a video, but they're fun to watch as well. Like I said, it was my first retreat. I was a little bit apprehensive. I'm not by nature a joiner. I, voluntarily booted myself out of the Girl Scouts after one meeting. I'm not. I'll do the merit badges on my own, Mom. I don't want to do that. So I had some concern. I mean, I'm an adult now. so hopefully I can manage a little bit better. So, but I think most stitchers are introverted, just by nature of the craft itself. It's a pretty solitary pursuit. I think, you know, Maggie and Amy being stitchers first and retreat operators second, know this, and they go out of their way to make it welcoming and very fun and inclusive. So I think everybody had that general feeling. And Maggie points out, I've heard her say more than once, it's like, don't forget, everybody in this room has one thing in common: stitching. You've got automatic built-in icebreakers. You know, you walk up to somebody and say, hey, what are you working on? Hey, who's your favorite designer? Hey, what fabric is that? Hey, what count is that? I mean, you just, you know, start the ball rolling. You can't shut a stitcher up, and you start asking those kinds of questions. So, you know, the thing I noticed was everybody's stitching, so you don't even have to make eye contact. Everybody's heads down doing their stitching, so it's perfect. It's an introvert's delight. So it's a dream social situation. So if you've been worried about that, no need to worry about that. I heard a number of people say that this is my first time and I'm very nervous and I'm very concerned and I didn't know what to expect, and so hopefully I can take a little of the fear out of that for you. The kind of how it all starts is registration. They'll probably do this again next year, but January 1st was the registration date, and they gave you 24 hours, so you didn't have to worry about crashing the server or being up at, you know, midnight to hope to get a chance or whatever. So it was kind of equal opportunity. It didn't matter, as long as you had it done by the midnight on January 1st, you were in the pool. And they did have a waiting list, so people dropped out. They supplemented with those folks as well. If you got selected, they had, I don't know if they had enough for everybody, but they did have a block of hotel rooms that had some special rates that you could sign up for as well. And the location was fantastic. It was in suburban Charlotte, and you didn't need a car. I happened to have rented a car because I was planning to go to Charleston for a few days afterwards, but my car sat in the lot for 3 days. So I might have tried to find some other alternative, but it turned out that you know, everything was nearby. There was Whole Foods a couple blocks away. There was fast food, and there was a quick trip gas station, convenience store. There was plenty of restaurants and shops, and everything was in walking distance. The weather was beautiful, so it was really a fantastic location. The hotel staff was great, and so it was really a comfortable situation. So, and then every month, once you got approved for attending, they would hold a Zoom meeting just to let people kind of get to know each other a little bit, and you know, and it's everybody's comfort level is different. So if you wanted to leave your camera off and just kind of lurk and just listen and mute your microphone, that was fine. Some people were very actively engaged. Other people just kind of, you know, hung out in the background and at least got to scope it out a little bit, get to know a little bit, and put names and faces a bit together, and just even knowing the names, or see things in chat and share stuff. And so that was fun. I think they're going to do one more post-retreat Zoom as well, just to keep people engaged. And they also have a private Facebook group just for attendees, and so you have access to that, and so you can communicate with people and work on ride shares and, you know, share things that you're going to be working on or whatever you want to talk about. Share room setups and things like that. The room we were in was a ballroom that we had access to. From on Thursday it started at 3 o'clock till 11 o'clock at night, and then Friday and Saturday we had from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. to be in the room. And the lighting was pretty good. There was some natural light, but there were also these big, what looked like ring lights to me. And I thought, oh, they said they would have a Flosstube booth. Do we have to lie on our backs and stare at the ceiling and do our Flosstube with the ring lights? But it was just overhead lighting. They did have a booth, and the introduction that I did, I filmed in that little booth as well. So thank you for setting that up for those of us who do Flosstube. At our table, like I said, there were 6 to a table, and 5 of the 6 of us had never been to a retreat before, so we were all new. I don't know if we gravitated to each, but it seems like there was a lot of new people. A lot of people I talked to had not been to one before. And they had a photo booth, so you'd go out by table and have some photos done. So they'd do the strip of different, they'd have you do different poses, and then they put together a GIF where they had you do some crazy things, and so I'll insert that here. And as a group, we usually went to dinner together, usually had lunch on our own. People needed to decompress a little bit. I think, you know, again, that introvert thing. I think all of us had some time. I went for a walk most days. The weather was gorgeous. But you know, you kind of came and went as need be if you didn't want to go. There's no pressure to go kind of thing. So the hotel was the Courtyard Charlotte Waverly, and one night we went out for Mexican dinner, really authentic Mexican food. We went to a Neapolitan wood fire pizza place another night, and so it was really a good time. They gave us name tags, so here I am Deb, the Traveling Stocking Stitcher, my Instagram and Flosstube, and this is a lanyard that has the Queen City Stitch Retreat on it, and this is a swag bag that greets you when you first go in the room. It's an enormous bag, and it says Queen City Stitch Retreat, Charlotte, North Carolina, 2024. And there is this enormous Queen City Stitch Retreat mug. It's, I don't know if you can see it, but it's very sparkly. And here's this wonderful pouch that has the Queen City logo on it, and got a bunch of goodies in there as well. There is some buttons. These are orange mini ovals, half-inch orange mini oval mother of pearl buttons from TAMStitchDesigns.com, and I will put that down below. They gave us some crown-shaped beeswax, which I've never really used before, but that looks like it could be fun. Probably should have tried that out with all the acrylic I was putting on that other Queen thing. We have a Queen City needle minder. And treasure braid. I did use the treasure braid that they included for us for the retreat exclusive design, the Queen of the Night. And these very cute scissors, pumpkin scissors, also from TAMStitchDesigns. It was in October, so very appropriate for the event. And then we also had a little magnetic frame for putting our needle minders on. The board was for a Needleminder Exchange. So one of the things that they announced beforehand was that they were going to have a needle minder exchange, kind of like exchanging pins at Disneyland or whatever, the Olympics. So I've been sort of kind of accumulating. We'd go to garage sales or whatever, and I'd find jewelry or things that I thought would make fun needle minders. And and I was going to try to make some out of the little round, the cabochons, the clear glass things, using a picture or something. That didn't work out so well. I don't know what the issue was, but it just didn't look great. It looked kind of weird. So I put together some things. I wasn't real active about going out and searching for needle minders from people. I think maybe one thing that, I think this was a new thing they did, I think you almost had to have a set time where you have each table say, okay, table 12, go over and, work the room for a needle minder exchange kind of thing. So that might work better, because I think people, being introverted and that kind of stuff, and having other stuff going on, maybe didn't do it. So this is a bunch of the ones that I did. I do have some of the ones that I picked up as well. Kind of over here, really pretty shiny ones, and snowman, this big bee one, and the crown, fabulous, and then this one of the house were fun ones as well. So those are my set of needle minders. But and then I ordered magnets, and I didn't get them in time, and so maybe next year I'll be better prepared for the needle minders. But one thing the retreat gave me the opportunity to do and motivated me to do, is something I've been thinking about for a long time, is I wanted to create a logo for my channel. I wanted to design something that was stitched, that represented the things I like to do, which is stitching and traveling and Christmas stockings. And I also wanted to take the opportunity to sync up my socials, as the kids say, a phrase I've never uttered before, and I don't know that I ever will again, but something I probably wouldn't have known 10 years ago. But Instagram, I was traveling_stocking_stitcher, and my YouTube was the Traveling Stocking Stitcher. So now they both are the Traveling Stocking Stitcher with one L, the American way of spelling it. This is the Traveling Stocking Stitcher with some, world landmarks here and some Christmas stockings. down below. And one of the reasons, in addition to getting the names in sync, is I thought, well, I will create floss drops. And not everybody does giveaways for everybody at the retreat. Quite frankly, if I were doing it and going my first time, and I don't know if I would do it on my second time, but I would not bother to do it because it was a tremendous amount of work, and it freaked me out a little bit and stressed me out before going. So not necessary. What I ended up doing, though, is creating these floss drops that has the Traveling Stocking Stitcher with my email account on it, and the Instagram and YouTube logos, and my logo on it, and places to put your floss and put it on a ring. So I handed those out to people. I had some cardstock that happened to have little crowns on them. Red ones and green ones and brown ones. So I'm going to pass those out with rings. Again, not necessary, but I had the logo and I was excited to do that. So I got to talk, the way that I learned to do these is Stacy 911 Stitcher was at the retreat as well, so I got a chance to go over and thank you for the video that she had done that showed me how to do this. And so we had a nice little conversation about the kind of glue that I used, so gave her some tips about what I learned on that. So thank you, Stacy. But I will show you some of the things that I did receive from people. This is this amazing planner. Delana at our table gave every one of us this incredible book. It's got, I don't know if I'll be able to show you this well enough, but it's got, see these embellishments, this 3D kind of thing, and it's got tags and paper items in here as well, all these beautiful pockets and clips and embellishments. Let me just look at that. There's all of these things that are listed in there, and there's some charms. Oops. Charms, there's a little dragonfly charm, and I mean, almost every page has something. She must have worked so hard on these things. And a little paper clip of a crown. This is a fun one. So just little pockets that are everywhere, and tassels, and just a beautiful book. From the spine, she's got some lace, and just thank you so much, Delana. It was very, very beautiful. Got a lot to show you here. I'm going to do my best to sync them up with who gave them to me. This is Heidi Levine at Happy Crafter. She gave us some cookies and floss drop with a dragonfly on it. And every time you'd go away from the table and come back, there'd be something new there, 2 or 3 things, and you wouldn't know who they were from. So unfortunately, I can't always attribute everybody. But this is a needle minder that is also a needle threader that has a crown on it. It's all in one. It's got everything going on there. So thank you for that. This is a cute needle minder from Serenity_Stitcher with a little cat and the shape of a pumpkin. And so I know it's not showing up real orangey, but it's orange, and it's a cat with bats on it. This is from Katie. I mentioned the Sosna Designs, where she's doing chatelaine inspired things, so she had a freebie that was available to us. I think it was an exclusive to us, so I'm covering up the QR code. But this is I Only Stitch with People who would have burned witches, and it's got the Queen City Stitch Retreat 2024 on it as well. She was going to make these into needle minders. They were buttons, but she kind of had a similar situation to me where the magnets didn't show up or they weren't the right ones, and it was kind of my situation. And so she handed out the buttons, which are cute. I don't know who these were from, but they were wands, mascara wands. I had not known that this was a thing that you needed, but I did use it because I was frogging a lot. And so you just wipe off the stray stitches that you frog, and so it's got a little mermaid tail on the top. Scales. See that? And I have another one here as well that's got, God forbid, a little frog on it. This one, I wish I could read it, but I'm not sure what that says. But it's lovely. They're kind of laminated floss drops, so I'm not sure who those came from, but thank you very much for those. Here's a pack with dolphins. This is from Jen Weibel And the artwork is from her daughter, Emma Weibel, I believe she said, who's Emma Weibel 21850 on Instagram. Whoops, am I holding that up right? So, place to write your color and their information as well. And this is from Tina England. She's Maple Leaf Crafters. And little maple leaf needleminder on there, which not only has an interesting front, but it's got an interesting back as well. So thank you for that, Tina. And Stitchers Hollow, I watched their video and enjoyed them. Alex was there. Neil couldn't make it, but they had little cards to show us their stuff. And this is Little House Stitcher is Alex, her card. And here's a little needle threader as well. Again, I don't know who that came from necessarily, but I thank them. Oh, at our table also, this was a fantastic gift. Chu made this, and it's got, it's a face mask. You mix it with water. The instructions are here, and you apply it to your face for 10 minutes. It's made out of colloidal oatmeal, coconut milk powder, and it's made by Love with Chu. So, thank you, Chu. And little emery board. Again, not sure who that came from, but thank you. And snowman scissor fob, very cute. And here's another scissor fob with a crab on it. So my scissors are going to be the best dressed, good looking scissors in town. And Debbie, one of our table mates as well, she's with Owl and Gator Flosstube. She's also a fun one to watch. Gave us some chai tea, a little bit different. And so there's some candy in there, and there's some DMC floss, and so fantastic. Thank you very much, Debbie. And Rachel from Licking Floss on Instagram and Flosstube gave us some licking floss suckers to lick on. Funny story is I had put up a notice on the Facebook group saying, you know, I'm coming in about 10:30 to the airport. Everybody gets in around then and wants to share a ride. I'd be happy to drive you into the hotel. Well, landed a little bit late, and then I was going to pick up Rachel from Licking Floss, and so we kind of had said what we were wearing, and came in and was going to go pick up my baggage. There was no way I could just take one bag because I was going on to Charleston after that and all the stitching stuff. So I had to check a bag, which I normally don't do. But the app told me it was at one baggage claim, and the Charlotte airport is huge. There had to be 10, what do you call those things, walkway things to get to. So it took me a while to just even get to the baggage claim. And then the app said it was at one gate or one baggage carousel, and she had asked somebody and said that it was at another carousel. And I looked at the board, and it had a third different carousel up there listed, but there was no baggage coming out. And then eventually I noticed that all the Delta flights had no baggage carousels listed anymore. And so finally they came out where the woman had said that they typically come from. But as I was meeting up with Rachel, I was kind of looking around and saw somebody that kind of matched the clothing description, and she looked very familiar, but it didn't click with me. And you know, we had to go get the car, and that was a whole nother ordeal. We went and you stand in line for 20 minutes so they can give you the would you like insurance spiel, and would you like to have us fill the tank for you at an exorbitant rate. And so finally they say, here you go, and go on your way, here, go out to the garage. You go out to the garage, and they were only, you don't just get into a car. You had to stand there and wait for them to go get a car. There was at least 15 people in front of us, and every car was taking 10 to 15 minutes to get. So, you know, kind of do the math. We were there for well over an hour. They started to speed up a little bit. I think it was lunchtime, and it was not going very fast. But eventually, we were in the airport longer than we were on the plane. So I felt really sorry for Rachel having to go through that. She could have been to the hotel a long time. We barely made it in time for the 3 o'clock opening of the doors. So that's my little story about renting a car in Charlotte. So, But anyway, the point of the story was, there was a point, is as people were handing out things, she wasn't at the table when I set hers down, and she came over late and she goes, "You're the traveling stocking stitcher." And I said, "Yes, I am." And then a little while later I went and I came back and there was this sticker from Rachel and it said licking floss on it. I said, "You're licking floss. I watched your Flosstube," but it just didn't click. You know, it's that out of context thing. I'm not great with faces, but I'm good with names. And so when I saw her in the airport, she looked familiar, but it didn't click with who she actually was. So that was kind of entertaining. Oh, and then there was this beautiful, she made bags for everybody. This is Bags by Wendy. She has a Flosstube. This is a Alphonse Mucha with, you know, a dragonfly pull. And it's just gorgeous. Beautiful bag. This kind of metallic fabric. And she had some floss drops in there. This is Wendy in Neverland. And she sells Bags by Wendy on the site as well. And just lovely. She also contributed some bags to the raffle, which was just wonderful as well. The raffle, they had a charity raffle, and the proceeds went to Stand for Animals Veterinary Clinic, and they help people who can't afford veterinary care in the Charlotte area. It's Maggie's Vet, and she says they do wonderful work. And so you got some tickets in your packet, and you could buy more. And I think the total they raised was well over $3,000. I know they were trying to hit that goal, and I think they exceeded it quite well. But there was, I'll show you a table of some of the things. There was like a $100 gift card to 123 Stitch, and there were 2 big DMC 310 cones of death, or cones of doom, excuse me, not cones of death. Some beautifully handmade quilts that someone at the retreat had donated. There was a K&B Creations stitching stand. There were some project bags. Bags by Wendy had contributed a number of those. There was some collections of patterns, Audibly and Stitchery, and the Bird Club from Lindy Stitches, and I'm not going to remember them all, but there were some kitted up projects, there were some frames, so just a host of things that you could put your raffle tickets in, and you could buy more raffle tickets as the time went on. So they also had a freebie table, so I picked up some things. This is 17th century La Jardin Francais. It almost looks to be sort of like a chatelaine. Looks like it's got some fancy things in there. Hands-on design. We've got Flamingo All the Way, Heart in Hand, Halloween Square Dance. I'm not a Halloween stitcher, but I'm starting to become one, boy. Bottom Lane Stitchery has a lot of cute stuff that I almost picked up. There's a kit here that kind of falls into my travel theme. It's a sail away kit, picture postcard stitch along. Dirty Annie's Feliz Naughty Dog, American Victorian. Saw some Victorian houses in my travels. Fonts, I always like fonts, being a alphabet stitcher of stockings, you need those a lot. I picked up a Winnie the Pooh, because who doesn't like Winnie the Pooh? 120 alphabet fonts, even more alphabets. So Leisure Arts. This is from Erin Elizabeth, Holly Jolly, a type of Christmas Holly Jolly. And there was just some travel-related stickers that I think I picked up there. And Maple the Reindeer, this is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. And Run Rudolph, also a type of Christmas Rudolph from Erin Elizabeth Designs. It's cute. And this is a kind of a Tuscan scene. This is a famous great picture, Harvest Evening. I think it might be a Chinese knockoff, but. And then even in the freebie pile there were some magnets, some floss things, floss drops, and not floss drops, magnets, needleminders, that's the word I'm looking for. Giveaways, they had enough for everybody to get something at least once, and by the end of the weekend they were just making things up to give people things because they had so much stuff. But what I want is the Fiberlicious YummyFibers.com hand-dyed cotton floss. So I've got blue spruce. I don't do haul, so I don't know how to do this. You've got to do put your hand in front of it. And they've got Christmas Wishes, Are they all Christmas wishes? No. This is kind of a green and brown and white mixture. This is wintergreen, so kind of a darker green. This is poinsettia, darker red. The lighting's not great and it's late at night, so I'm doing this. And then holly berries, which is not the actress, but some sort of orange thread. So, and then I mentioned that whoever had started the Queen of the Night, they did a giveaway for everybody that had that. So they had some Autumn Lane Stitchery, and I picked up Easter Bunny. So I did a smalls exchange. Because I wanted the full immersive retreat experience, I decided to do it. I don't know that I would do it again, as it takes some time. I started it very early on after I had got approved for attending the retreat, but then towards the end I was scrambling to get some of the other things. So there were a list of things that they wanted you to do. So maybe a quarter of the people participated in the smalls exchange. And again, this is a thing that you don't have to do. It takes a lot of work because you need a finished piece that you are willing to stitch and give to somebody. And so, and there's some other things, there's some guidelines of things to include. They kind of have you go up by table and you just see a fabric. One of the things that you give them is a fat quarter of fabric, and you wrap the things inside the fabric. So I found this beautiful blue opalescent fabric. It's just gorgeous. This is 28 count Crystal Dwarf Lugana, and it's just pretty, pretty. I can't wait to use that. And that drew my eye, and I know why it drew my eye, because the person who it was from is somebody that I watch, Flosstube, and I've gotten to know her a little bit, so I consider her a friend, and so I was very excited when I got her stuff. It's like, oh, I love her stuff. I'm going to be really happy. So, in addition to that, they had you provide a needle miter, and so she wrapped them in cute little bags. So I got this very beautiful. Did I say who gave it to me? Paula, Stitching in High Heels. I'll come to that in a minute. I don't think I said her name. And so there's so much stuff to organize that it's a logistical nightmare to show you everything. I'm lucky I'm doing as well as I am. Alright, so this is the Snowflake needle minder. So she also gave me, they suggested a skein of DMC floss, and so she gave me some variegated 67, a very pretty blue color. It all goes so well together. And a skein of DMC 33, so she gave me extra stuff. So here's the plain DMC, but she also gave me variegated. And then she gave me some Blue Lagoon Karen Water Lilies, and that's just gorgeous. Look at that, that's so pretty. Oh, I'm so excited to use that. So they wanted to give you a skein of DMC and a skein of Fancy Floss. And then they wanted to have you give something fit for a queen. And so this gorgeous pin cushion, look at that. Look at that thing, it's amazing. It's got this blue, I mean the color coordination is just fabulous. And it's got these stick pins, beautiful stick pins in there. And there is a 2024 charm and a crown charm. Let me see if I can get those ranged so you can see them. There's a crown charm, and a 2024 charm over here. Oh, there it is. Fantastic. And then something from the person's hometown. And so this is some pure honey from Deal Farm Markets in New York, which is where Paula is from. So that's going to be delicious to try that out. So thank you, Paula, so much. The funny story, oh, and you also had to have a card with your socials on it. So this is her card, Stitching in High Heels. And it's a floss drop. And so she's got all of her specifics on there as well, stitching in high heels. And a couple of weeks before the retreat, I was looking for a post that she'd done on Facebook. And so I typed in, you know, they've got the new AI Meta, AI let me help you search thing. Well, I just want to search. I know what I'm looking for. But it insisted on wanting me to help. So I typed in stitching in high heels. The answer it gave me was, that's an interesting combination. Stitching, which I assume refers to stitching or embroidery, is typically done in a seated position and requires a certain level of dexterity and comfort. High heels, on the other hand, are a type of footwear that can be challenging to wear for extended periods. If you're looking for advice on how to stitch while wearing high heels, I'd suggest finding a comfortable and stable seating position, using a footstool or footrest or stool to support your feet, and taking regular breaks to rest your feet. However, I'd also recommend considering a more practical and comfortable footwear option like flats or loafers to make the stitching process easier and more enjoyable. So I thought that was hilarious. I sent it to her because I thought it was a stitch. I thought it was a stitch. I didn't even mean to do that. Sorry about that. The thing that I had made, I'll put a picture of it because I don't have it here, but I did a Charlie Harper Cool Cardinal design. I had the fabric on the back is the same design. I did it on 32 count petit point gray and white Lugana 2/2, and then just put Christmas card, that's the name on the top, so that was what I had, and you know, the other stuff that goes with it. So, but that was my small finished items that I did, and I'll put some pictures in here of kind of some of the other things. There was a very cool spider that somebody had created with this big spider stand on it. So, a lot of talent. Very, very impressive. I mentioned the brag table, so people bring things to show off what they've been doing. So there was a table that covered the whole wall. I put a video up on it, a Flosstube extra up on it, and so you can see it there. But I also took stills, and depending on how long this video ends up being, I will try to put in pictures of those. You kept having to go up because more stuff and more stuff and more stuff would show up. So it's seeing some of those things in person, it's unbelievable how much difference it makes. You see them online or mocked up or even stitched online, until you see them in person. There was some real temptations of things to stock up on. And they had some vendors at the retreat as well. And one of the nice things is especially for buying fabric, you get to see the things in person. You don't have to pay shipping costs. And Amy has Oak Crown Studios, is her fabric company, and she does the hand dyeing of things. And so I don't like to just buy things to buy things. I like to have purpose in mind for them. So I went through and looked at my little chart and or my spreadsheet and tried to figure out what sizes and colors I needed of things. And so I bought some things, and so again, not having to pay shipping costs and you know, being able to see things in advance is helpful. So this one is called Flames. This is a fat quarter of 14 count Aida. Very pretty. It's a little more red than it's showing up here. It looks pinkish, but it's really kind of a pretty red. Well, it's got some pink in it, I guess, too. But not totally sure what I'm going to do that one with, but I just thought it was really pretty. Grunge, this one, it escapes me what I'm going to use it for, but I have a reason. I have a purpose for it. Ooh, that's very blurry. And one of the things that the retreat taught me as well is I'm not very adventuresome. I always think that things are going to get just eaten up by especially if it's very modeled. I'm very leery about using colored fabric and seeing the beautiful things that people put on there. Again, it's kind of my not feeling comfortable with color, but it encouraged me to go out of my comfort zone. So I bought some fabric thinking, I'm going to try this out. So that's that. This one is called Fairy Moon. It's a 36 count linen, and that's just a beautiful blue. That's showing fairly true, but that's very, very pretty. And Castle Wall. I think this might have been the color that they recommended for one of the Queen of the Night colors. I brought my own. I was so excited to stitch it, I didn't want anything holding me back. So that's a pretty lovely dark color. And this one, I've got a Paris watercolor one that I think will work on this one. This is called Clear Skies. This is a 20 count Aida. Yeah, the last one was a 20 count as well. There's a lot of stuff that I want to try to fit in an 11 by 14 frame, and the 20 count is what I'm going to have to use to do it. So this is kind of almost a greenish sky blue. And depending on how much you bought, you got a tote bag too with the Oak Crown Studios logo on it as well. And there's the other side of her card. One of the other vendors was, of course, Autumn Lane Stitchery. It was their, they were the designer. So I bought some things that they had. I got, I saw the Stitched Up Winter Friends. They had it on their display, and it's really cute. I thought this might make a good stocking as well. Because it's tall and skinny, you just got to figure out something to put on the toe. And I saw this one, Paula had this one on the rag table. This is also, it's very pretty and about the same size as that other one, I think. But I thought this would also make a nice stocking. And this is Hilda the Garden Witch. I said I'm not a Halloween stitcher, but she's so cute. I saw it stitched up on like a gingham fabric on the rag table, so I have to pursue that somewhere. And I wanted Moons Out, Brooms Out, but they were out of that as well, so I'm going to be buying that online later. Another vendor there was Sheba Designs, and she does some beautiful bags for sale. She had a retreat exclusive fabric that were also available for pre-order, and she had some on display there as well, so very gorgeous. Went very well with the Autumn Lane Stitchery theme. And then they had some merch opportunities as well before the treat, and it'll even be open for a while afterwards that you could buy t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts and that kind of stuff. So had the Queen City Stitch Retreat logo on it. When the retreat ended on Sunday, there were no festivities, but one thing that they had arranged is there is a local needlework shop. It's about an hour and a half away's drive in near Columbia, South Carolina, in Irma, South Carolina, and it's called the Stitchin Kitten, and they offered to be open on Sunday, which they normally are not, so that anybody who wanted to drive down there and check them out could do that as well. And I happened to be tacking on a few extra days to go to Charleston, and it was on the way, so why not? So I did pick up a few more things that are color things that I'm going to give a try. This one is called 32 count, one in a melon linen. I didn't buy it for the pun, you know how I love my puns, but I just bought it because I thought the color was cool. Oh, this is not going to show up at all. It's really a peachy pink. Maybe if I hold it backward, this is not, well, maybe it's okay. No, you're not getting the true beauty of it. It's gorgeous. And then this, totally out of character for me. I don't know what I was thinking, but it looked cool. I don't know why, but this one is called 28 count Tuscan Sun Linen. Again, I wasn't going by the name, but it's almost an olive brown? I don't know. I've got some ideas for what I could use this for. I'm warming up to using more neutrals as well. So if you want to see yet more about retreats, there's a few people that have put videos up about the retreat. So Sadie is at sa.rita, R-I-T-A 91. She's got a Flosstube up. Kat from Whittier Stitches has a recap, and I'll put these all links down below. Eve of Queen V Crafts has a video out as well, and Maggie will put together a playlist of everybody, so if you just can't get enough retreat stuff, there'll be more to watch as well. Future retreats, next year they are going to have Nora Corbett back. She was there for their first retreat, and so she will be the guest designer, back by popular demand next year. And they are also doing a mid-year Chatelaine retreat in July. It's closed now, you can't get into it, but it's a smaller group. It's more focused on specialty stitch workshops. I didn't register for those because not knowing if I was going to like retreats, I did not sign up for them. And I also felt a little like I was taking a seat away from somebody who was really a hardcore fan, like, scoring Bruce Springsteen tickets that would be lost on me that somebody else really, really wanted to go see. So, but next time I wouldn't, I wouldn't hesitate to sign up for a retreat. Some things that I've learned about retreats that I'd like to share with you. Find your tribe. You want to, I think there's a correlation between the types of designs that you like and the people, the affinities they will have for each other. So I think like-minded people will gravitate together just because of the things that they like. So, for instance, not in any negative way, but I don't think I saw a sampler all weekend. And I just don't think these are sampler kinds of people. I think these are bright color people, and it was just a different crowd. So if sampler people are your sampler people, find where their retreats are. If you're a bright, happy person, this might be the retreat for you. So kind of know your niche. Watch Flosstube or Instagram or Facebook and see where those people go to retreats and find where you might enjoy it. Because that's, I think, the secret to success is you want to be with people who enjoy the same kinds of things that you do, get excited about the same kinds of stitching you do. So ask people you follow for suggestions. Maybe follow the retreat hashtags on Instagram or whatever to see if people are enjoying themselves, having fun. Join a local Facebook group. Maybe you don't want to invest on taking a long trip and paying for airfare and hotels and meals, or you can't spend the time to do that. But maybe there's a local retreat that's within driving distance of you that you can kind of get your toes wet a little bit. So there are a lot of local Facebook groups that you can check out and find some nearby retreats. Sable Stitchers maintains a list of retreats on their website, so check them out and see if there's something around that you might be interested in. Like I mentioned before, I think really Maggie and Amy have hit on something, the fact that they're stitchers. And I talked to somebody who said she went to one that was operated by a shop. I think the same thing might be ones that are hosted by designers. They may not be stitchers first and foremost. It might be a business thing for them or whatever. But for those two, it really means they love stitching. And I think the motivation matters. So that's one consideration. I hope you enjoyed the retreat, me talking about it as much as I enjoyed going to it, and I hope you consider going one in the future. So thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you later. Bye.